Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast.
Welcome back to the Sparky Coach podcast, lounge room session today, and I've got my guest here, Michael Centofanti from Adelaide Electrical Contractors, so Adelaide-based Sparky. So welcome along, Michael, and thanks for joining me.
Finally joined the greats, Tom Ryan.
Get to listen to your wonderful dulcet tones. So before we probably get too far into it, Adelaide-based, have been forever, correct? Born and bred?
Yeah, born and bred here, yep.
Yeah, and then I guess we'll get it out of the way for all South Australians. Is it the Crows or Port Adelaide?
Oh, Port Power, yeah.
Port Power, okay. So, yeah, all right, cool.
Not a big footy person, I don't let it ruin my week or anything, but yeah, Port Adelaide, yeah.
Port Adelaide all the way. All right, nice. All right, just don't get that out of the way because maybe some people probably talk about
the radio and everything, so yeah, you've got to have one. So
shout out to Billy in Port Lincoln. Billy will tune out right now because he is a Mad Crows fan. So
all right, cool. Maybe we'll never work together then. We did talk about doing some stuff, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
Nice. So, mate, how'd you get your gig? How'd you get your start in the industry?
Oh, so short story long. My father's an electrician. My dad's a Sparky as well. Started his apprenticeship in '82, and basically did a lot of work on service stations and started his own business. And he worked on car washes, so all the manual bays, automatic bays, and stuff like that. So sort of grew up helping dad doing bits and pieces around the house. Didn't really want to do electrical. He did want me to come do car washes with him, but he had done he had already hired an apprentice. So I actually wanted to be a tiler because I really looked up to my uncle, and he was a tiler, into Valiants, into the same cars and same music. Yep. So I worked with him a fair bit on all my school holidays, and he just said, "Man, what do you want to fucking do this for? You're on your knees all the time. Why don't you be a tiler, you know?" And then he said, "Be an electrician like your dad. Why don't you just do that?" So yeah, did that, and it was around the GFC, like the 2007, 2008 when I was looking, so it was really hard to actually get an apprentice, like people to secure an apprenticeship back then. So I went and tried out with about 3 different companies, and then picked a company, and I just worked really hard for free, school holidays, did everything like that, like you do, for about a year, and then I actually got offered 2. Let's say it was 3, but let's just say 2. Officially got offered 3 apprenticeships. So picked one and stuck with it. Yeah, did my time with a small contractor, and
Yeah, nice. So rewind a bit there. So was it really like a passion or anything like that to begin with? So obviously you always had an interest in the trade world, so to speak.
Yeah, I was always going to be a tradie. Just enjoyed it. Enjoyed going to work. Like my dad, I'm one of 4 boys. So we're, I'm the eldest. We had a Tarago. My dad would be going to do jobs on the way. We'd go visiting families. And on the way home, we'd go do a little job. And, so that's just what we knew.
Yes.
So out of all my brothers, one brother's a plumber, one's a tiler, and one's a carpenter. So all of my uncles, all my family are all tradies. So it was always expected. But yeah, electrical sort of, my uncle really pushed me to do it. Not too time. Then once I did it, I was just like, yeah, I've got to do this. This is in my DNA. My dad's done it. My godfather, my cousin's electrician. Like, you got to do it. And yeah, I'm really happy with my decision to do it.
Yeah, nice. And then so when you touched on, your old man, obviously an influence in that. So he specialised in car washes, as like did he own some himself, or just work in that industry as like?
Yeah, worked in that industry, and goes back to like what you guys were saying about the niching and everything like that. We always talk about. He basically was doing petrol stations. He was doing like all that sort of stuff, and there was a large everyone from Adelaide will know about this place, but there was a big company that pretty much ran all of the servos for probably about 15 years or so, maybe more. And my dad got in with them before when they were just starting up.
Okay.
And he pretty much maintained all of them. They went from about 4 servos to about 100, I reckon, in the matter of 15 years while dad was doing it. And then, he had to make that decision. Do I keep doing work for Betty's or like the your cousins that are builders and stuff, or do you just concentrate? And that's what he did. He did that, and he grew his business doing that.
Yeah,
Uh,
cool.
yeah.
And then, so did he end up? Did you ever work with him or anything, or did he put the tool bag away before you sort of got
I
into
look,
it?
I helped him. I used to go because there's like these metal tracks you got to put in that when you go to the car wash.
Mhm.
I'd go help him drill them on. So he'd go drill probably about, I don't know, 300 holes, put
Yeah.
dyno bolts in, screwing them in, taught me what lubrication was.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
like all that sort of stuff. And we were like, they taught me how to fix some bits and pieces, but only in my teens, go
Yes.
helping him and stuff. I helped him like wire up a few, like running circuits and stuff to him. But yeah, he got out of it probably by the time I was about 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So moved into it.
So
So
I've just
obviously,
So
obviously, the bit of a family influence around there. Do you live vicariously through your brother who became a tiler and sort of worship?
nah, not at all. I couldn't give a fuck, to be honest. I couldn't give a fuck. I helped him tile my nonna's house. Like once we did the bathroom, I helped him cut and stuff. But no, I don't really. No,
No, happy with the pathway that you took.
happy with the path, yeah.
So during your apprenticeship, obviously Adelaide based, what type of work were you exposed to? Would you say it was an old school style apprenticeship? So what did you sort of get? What did you take away from it? Do you feel, and sort of what type of work did you get sort of exposed to?
I worked for a small company with just well, my boss, and like Crowe always says, your first boss is always your boss. I still call him my boss now, and I've been working for 10 years. So but yeah, we did mainly all high-end residential stuff. We worked for some pretty like I'd say probably bigger names in Adelaide, but they did like more that 5 houses a year, but some real big, good houses.
Sort of,
Yeah, probably about 3 to 4 builders that we worked for a lot. So it was mainly that high-end resi stuff. Not a lot of automation. He was an older guy, so my old boss was he would have been, so when I turned 20, he was turning 60. So that was the age gap, but it was a very systematic approach to it. It got to a point where it was myself and his son and my boss. It was a very systematic approach. It was like we wouldn't even talk when we'd rock up to site. It was that systematic. Like, man, the plan, you look at the plan was done the same way every time, and it was like precise. I'd do the power, we had our process, and yeah, we very rarely had any faults, any issues,
Yeah,
So
everyone knew the role, and you sort of meet for smoker.
Yeah, that's right. We had a smoko lunch. We had smoko at exactly 9:30 and lunch at exactly 12 o'clock. It was that sort of company, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I learned a lot. I learned so much, and a lot that you bring in to teach your workers, that hard work ethic and everything. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, nice. And then so fast forward, taking a lot of things out of it, and I guess, I have chatted to you previously around like the work ethic side of things and a little bit of like just the old school way of doing things, which I would probably liken to quite simplistic. Get in, get the job done, do it properly, do it well. I think if you boil it down really simplistically, that it's a high expectation of almost a craft as opposed to a trade, so to speak. Like it would, refer to it as almost like, hey, it's part of it's refined. It's, we want it to be done properly first time, every time. Did you carry on when you completed your apprenticeship with them, or did you look to other opportunities? Yeah, so you stayed around?
I did 7 years in total.
Yes.
So yeah, plus I stayed for 3 years.
Yep.
After, so yeah, and then started my business after that. I was 23 and started.
Oh, sweet. So you went straight from your boss and then straight into doing your own thing.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. What do you think inspired you to do that?
Oh, look, I always had a pretty hard work ethic.
Yep.
And not even when I was doing my apprenticeship, I worked at a supermarket at Woolworths from when I was about 14 or 15, whenever you legally could go to work. I quit soccer, went straight to Woolworths, started making money, and then did my apprenticeship. And then I was actually working at Woolworths at night after I'd work. So I'd work all day, 4:30, go to Woolworths, work there till like 9:30, 11 o'clock. My mates would be in the car park having smokes, so we'd all hang out there. They get home like 11:30, hang out, and then do it. Pretty much I did that for about 3 to 4 nights a week. And then Saturdays, I'd work every Saturday after work. I'd work electrical and then do Saturday afternoons until 8 p.m. at night, and then work Sundays as well. So we put in the hours, and I had back to what we're talking, like one of my best mates at the time, Stefan. He owns a Venetian Plastic Gallery in Melbourne now. we were doing the same thing. There's a plasterer, and we were just out of control. We just worked heaps hard and we partied hard. We went out every Saturday night, Friday night we went out, and how we did it, but we did it. And
Lots
now,
of
like,
energy.
he's plastering, pubs in the, what's it called, Hamilton Island with no top on it. So we're going to put a plug in for that, I think, for him. But yeah, I guess he was doing that. So we both were going down that road of working for ourselves, and we just, wanted that. And I think really the best way to do it is to work for yourself. If you really want to work hard and you want to do it. And I knew, but yeah, and that's just what we did. So I went and did it myself.
So when you went out on your own, how'd you go about it? Did you have contacts? Did you have anyone that you could lean on to sort of, provide some kind of workload? Or were you open to anything? Did you really know what you were looking to do? Or was it just like, I'm just going to make it work sort of thing, see what happens?
Both. Lots of contacts. Like, we live in a pretty small Italian community here in like the area I live in, and everyone knows everyone. So it was sort of like just went around, rang everyone, told everyone that's what I was doing. I've got a cousin, my second cousin David. He's a Sparky as well. So we just bounced off each other. So it was sort of that one-man band with that contractor, and then we just traded hours. And we'd sit down at the end of the month and we'd just say, hey, you did this many hours, I did that many days, and then we'd work out the difference, send each other a bill, and it was actually pretty clean, like a clean way to do it. And then from there, we sort of just started picking up our own jobs, and concentrate on like the small service sort of work, and then like we tried to get one good big job a year, and that would last us a while. So
and then so like support each other basically.
Like he did a lot of restaurants, so like I helped him with a lot of restaurants, and I did like obviously from that high end resi background and big massive renovations, large houses. I was pretty big with that stuff, and I was doing a bit of shop fit outs actually a fair bit of shop fit outs as well. But yeah, mainly just small builders and stuff we're doing work for.
Yeah, and then so when you utilizing a bit of a community network base of family, friends, and the community side of things, how were you able to spread your tentacles a little bit further? Was it just by working hard? Because obviously the work ethic's there, or was it just like putting your name out there and putting your name in lights sort of thing?
Well, I think I didn't really know what I know now about. Like up until probably about 2 weeks ago, I thought marketing and sales were the same thing. So didn't really know a lot about that sort of stuff. But it was sort of just like I always believed like I don't spend any money on well, we do now, but I didn't spend any money on marketing. I didn't have van signage. I didn't have any of that stuff. Like we had t-shirts, obviously.
Yeah.
Once I had my apprentice, but I always just believed like you're wearing your badge, so you're there and you're working really hard. People want to, and obviously, there's that stereotype about electricians being lazy, going the easy way out. I took that to heart. So I fucking work extra fucking hard to sort of, to like remove that stereotype from us, and it worked. It worked. And like one of my biggest builders I've got now was just purely from seeing me on a job site, me and my apprentice on a job at the time it was my apprentice. And just like, man, who are you guys? Like, and then one of my biggest builders right now, biggest clients, been working for about 6 years now, So mainly that, just setting an example of how you work and being consistent with your work, communication as well. It's like a big value of ours as well. So.
Yeah, nice. And then so how long has AEC been going for now?
Well, soon, I reckon maybe next month. I've got to look up on ASIC, but it'll be 10 years soon.
10 years, so 10 years since AEC.
Next month, probably 10 years. So.
Okay, so that's exciting. So you've been going for a while, and then give us a bit of a snapshot of the type of work that you do now, and the sort of what you've got in regards to the staff and support.
We're a team of 4 at the moment. Yes. We had a trainee recently leave us about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Then we just rely on subbies as well, like when we get bigger jobs to do that. We're not doing a lot of mum and dad stuff. We're not really doing a lot of that anymore. It's more of an add-on to what we do, but we're mainly focusing on like the big residential jobs, like, multiple townhouses, say like 20, let's just say, we just completed 16 townhouses like a couple of months ago. Apartment buildings, like that light commercial apartment stuff. We just finished 7 warehouses. I think you guys call them factories in Queensland.
Warehouses, factories,
warehouses. So doing a bit of commercial. Yeah, a bit of a mix. So I'd probably say we're like 70% project work, and maybe about like 30% service and maintenance. I do a bit of real estate. I've got one good real estate agent that I do work for, and they're probably my first official B2B recurring client that I've had.
Yes.
I still work for him to this day. But yeah, bit of that. So that's mainly what we're doing.
And where do you sort of feel like your strength lies now? Like with the, been going for 10 years, obviously working in that multi-res, higher end, commercial, sort of light industrial area that you seem to enjoy, like, and obviously, and sort of focus on that area. Where do you think your sort of strengths lie nowadays to be able to complete that sort of work? Because if you said 10 years ago this is what you would be doing, you probably, would you believe it? Is it sort of
Nah. Oh, maybe like up to 10 years, yeah, it's probably where you should be as well,
Yeah.
maybe further, but yeah, you obviously always got high expectations for yourself, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I think probably our biggest strength is our I wouldn't say systems and processes because that's a big propaganda word, but I feel like our project management tools and like our internal communication, how we all communicate within the team, and actually how we get information out to the customer is
Yes.
dialed in pretty fucking tight.
Yeah.
We try not to miss. Everyone misses something, but we probably 90% of the time we don't miss a thing.
So really solid on the communication side of things, essentially.
I think so. Yeah, I think internally our communication is pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Project
it's
management task, what's required, what's left on a job. Like how we run it. I think we're pretty tight. Yeah.
yeah. And then in turn, the client is always kept up to date, basically.
Yeah.
So they know what's going on. There's no surprises. If something has been done or hasn't been done, it's communicated in a sense, and then you're aware, sort of. So there's no stone left unturned across the.
So we're like, our thing is that, especially with multi-res stuff, if you're going in to a house or a warehouse, anything, you go in there to finish it. If you don't finish it, you got to write down what you couldn't finish, and it's that simple. Put it on we've got like a little group chat.
Yeah.
We send it into admin, and admin adds it to the task list, to make it easy for the team, or voice memo it in, and then admin will then add it to where it needs to go. So that way you're not warehouse 3 has a PowerPoint that's unscrewed. It's like, yeah, we know. And then what you do is we actually, when we complete a stage, we'd say it's completed, but we'll send an email saying, hey, first fix, or roughing as you guys call it, is completed. These are our remaining work. So no one can ever be like, hey, you forgot to do this, you forgot to do that, because that burns me when people tell you forgot. So
no, I didn't forget.
One of our things is like we're proactive. We tell before we get asked. So let everyone know that this is where the job's at. As you know, I like to talk a fair bit.
Yeah.
So like Fridays are sort of my day that I'm on the road. I'm ringing people. I'll just call up all my builders or call up clients or someone I was thinking about. I'll just write a little note, and then on Friday when I'm cruising, I'll just call people and you say, hey, this is where your job's at. When do you need us? You're this, that. Just talk about whatever. We don't even talk about work sometimes. So yeah, I think having that is really important. Communicating.
What do you think? What do you think you picked up from? Is it like instilled, or did you learn it from the boss originally, or where do you think you picked it up from?
I think look, obviously come from doing a lot of service work as well, the real estate stuff, because high volume of real estate. You just look at what pisses people off, what pisses off your customer.
Yeah.
Tradies not rocking up when they say they're going to rock up.
Yeah.
But let people know when you're coming, give them a window, and if you don't make it, let them know. So communication is obviously a big factor. Letting people know that you've done the job. So how would you like it if I came and fixed the air conditioner behind you, did the job, left, we did it all, and then I'll just send you an invoice in 2-3 weeks, so you don't even know if it's been done or not. Yeah. So, we set up like a job card in SimPro that as soon as you click complete on the job or need to return, the job card gets sent straight to the real estate agent that, this has been done. So we don't even have to call them, and it saves my guys ringing people. So I brought that sort of communication skills into the project side.
Yeah.
So, and that's what a lot of people love. Like they love it, and you got to know who wants to be over communicated to and who just wants to know, give me the fucking facts. That's it.
Yeah. The different
some people, but yeah, we just like to be on top of our jobs all the time, because then you have a job that gets cancelled, you've got somewhere to go because you know things that are needing to be done. So, yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. And then, do you get a lot of feedback on it?
Yeah, we do.
A lot of comment.
A lot of positive feedback. Some people just say, "Can you stop fucking letting me know where you're at?" You know, like just can you just stop there, you know? But I don't care. That's just how we are, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you probably won't read it. We did a massive house, 1,200 square meter home, solid brick house with a suspended slab, like concrete slab.
Yeah.
And he was a doctor, he was a busy guy. And then once we'd finish a stage, my admin we obviously let everyone know where we're at in the team. He'd send, hey, we've just finished this. We'll be back in about a month for cutout. This is where we're at with the list of things that are remaining. Can you please answer these? And got to a point where there was probably about 10 unanswered like RFI
Yeah.
for like 6 months. And I just thought, all right, let's catch up for a meeting and let's just go through everything. And we smacked it out in like 5 minutes, all the RFIs, you know? So you need to know how to communicate to certain customers. And I think Greg's really big on that as well. Crowley's real big on reading the room as well. So
Yeah, understanding what works for different people.
Yeah.
Interesting. So along the way, so obviously you went out on your own, obviously pretty early at 20, or not pretty early, but like at a younger age at 23. What do you reckon your biggest learning curves were along the way? That hit you like a bus, or experiences that you were like, holy shit, I didn't expect to see that. What sort of experiences and learnings did you sort of attack or get exposed to early on?
I knew that it was going to take up a lot of your time, and I was willing to put in the time for it. But I think just like the paperwork and what was involved as far as admin and invoicing and stuff like that, like some people say, boring stuff, like how much time that actually takes and how much it can build up and compound if you don't just do it. Like, you know, if you remember when we first met, like I had a really bad February. You're like, what the fuck's going on here? No, really bad like December. And then you saw my February, you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? And I was like, that's all from December, you know?
Yeah.
But I think just knowing, like making sure that consistency, you're doing those things. Like I wasn't expecting like that much paperwork to be involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any sort of bad experiences that stick in your mind, or have any bad experiences that really stick in your mind that you're like, I didn't see that coming, or I didn't expect that, but geez, I've learned a lot from it?
Yeah, fair few. Probably the first lesson I learned when we're going back to like sending your invoices on time, because you know we always say it's you get the job, you go quote it straight away, but then the invoice, I had one of the first jobs, restaurant that I did for myself, like a restaurant. It was about 6-7 grand, whatever it was. Like it was in my first year of business as well. And the bloke's like, send me the bill. I was like, I've just still got to hang this TV for you. Let me hang this and then I'll send it to you once we've done it. It was a bit of a head, I had to run cables and stuff, finish restaurant, and we couldn't get a date that he was closed. Anyway, he had another restaurant that actually went under and he ended up moving to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But I don't know what ended up happening to him.
Place for shady people.
Yeah, well, long story short, he actually ended up going bankrupt in the end with everything, you know. So I lost, I think I got paid for like 3 grand worth of it. So I probably, let's just say for round numbers, I lost about 5 grand on that first job. And he had the money, he was ready to pay me, but I just wanted to finish off the job before I sent the bill, you know. Whereas like that was probably my biggest shock. Like shit, people can just go bankrupt and then they just don't pay you and then they just disappear.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Moved to the Gold Coast. I'm going to fly to 22, 40 fly to the Gold Coast to go. I don't even know where he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just that was probably my biggest shock, you know.
Yeah, it definitely highlights, and I mean, it's a bit of punch in the face, or to have done all this work and it's a fantastic job and you get no reward for it. Like I don't know the ins and outs of it all, but I'm going to say there was probably a loss. It wasn't even a break-even job. It was like
I didn't even know what a gross profit or a net profit was back then. So yeah, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. That's pretty much where it was with that.
So there's a real learning experience out of that, I think, and I think you can take from that is that the value of progress claims and the importance of progress claims. Of it's like I've done all this work. It's like, okay, well it's not hinging on this, because it's like, well, I need to work in with. I almost guarantee it was probably an extra as well. Like it was probably like an add-on to the original scope as well. So realistically, you actually completed the original scope and agreement or quote of works, and then you just we'll try and figure it out, and it didn't work for anyone. And then
there was an additional thing that was requested, like once we had sort of got the board all finished and done, and Yeah, and I was, I'll do it. And then he opened that week, and then I was, I'll do it this weekend, and they weren't available. So anyway, here's what it is. But it was a good lesson to learn because now I'm all over it. I'm actually like quite good with all of that now.
Well,
So
that happened very early, obviously, in your
yeah,
first
it was
year.
a good
So with the
lesson. It was an expensive lesson, but it could have been a $100,000 lesson in 5 years' time. So yeah. So but no, so it hasn't affected us. It's only made us stronger now. So.
yeah. What are any other sort of interesting stories or interesting events along the way that sort of
Oh,
are learnings?
yeah, heaps. I don't know how long we got, but
Yeah, let's go.
probably the biggest highlight I think like was like a big turning point for me. Was having kids, like having your kids. You work so much. I've got three kids.
Yes.
I've got a 5-year-old today. She's just turning 5,
Yes.
daughter, and then I've got 3-year-old twins, boy girl twins. And when my daughter was born, yeah, it was all good. You can still work hard, and I've got a really supportive wife. Like she just makes my lunch for me every day, cooks. Like she enables me to just go out and just work heaps hard, and she gets looked after. You know what I mean? So we've got that sort of relationship, and I think like when I had the twins, realizing like shit, I've actually got to start helping change nappies, and she needed help, and then
Mm.
realizing like I was actually been running at like 100, probably 110% already.
Mhm.
And then you go have twins, and then they were quite, we had a very complicated birth for them, and they were in hospital for about 60 days,
Mhm.
and at that time when they were born, I was working on my investment property, just getting rented out on the 30th. The twins were born on the 27th, and like, I reckon it would be in the 25th. I went there to just go have a look at something, brought my cousin there, Sparky, and he goes, "Oh, Miguel, your ceiling fell down." I was like, "What the fuck, a ceiling? Yeah, you're joking." I walk in, the ceiling had fallen down in the house. So I was, "Oh, fuck." So my wife went into labour like 2 days. I was like, "Oh, I'll fix that on the weekend." My wife went into labour. We had tenants moving in on the Monday.
Oh,
I
so
was,
good.
oh, fuck. So yeah, my wife had all these problems with this and that. And then, yeah, pretty much like after we had the kids, Christy just goes like, "Look, we've got to get this house rented out. Like, we've got my mum, your mum. Just get what you need to get done." No one, couldn't get anyone last minute. So I was there flushing, painting, all that sort of stuff. Got
Yeah.
it all rented out. And then it was sort of like reflection time. Like, shit, I need to do something about this. I can't be this stretched. I had
Yeah.
4 guys. There was 4 or 5 of us at the time, and I was so stretched. So I didn't have any systems or processes. I had a bit of job management software, but like it wasn't really getting used properly.
Mhm.
So I was like, shit. And then I just went down that rabbit hole of the systems and processes, which is I've learnt a lot from. So yeah, went down that road.
Yeah, I think really interesting point that you've touched on around like the children, like your kids side of things is that when it's just you, as even single as a single guy or girl, it's literally like you've got all the time in the world. Like you can
Oh yeah,
literally do
100%.
anything. And then even when you've got a partner, or you do get married or anything like that, is that there's an element of time that does dissipate, but through just generally pretty good communication, you still have a lot of freedom and a lot of time to sort of get what you need to get done and get the outcomes. But then when you get the kids thrown in the mix, is that like they don't wait for anyone.
Oh no, no, not at
It's a
all.
complete change and it really puts a constraint on your time and your day, and really get an understanding. And to anyone who doesn't have kids, is that like hey, why make hay while the sun shines?
Yeah,
In a different type of way, but it's just understanding that you probably went from having Saturday, Sunday, and probably generally 12 to 13 hours a day to do whatever you want, to sort of probably contracted right down to you probably had not much time on the weekend, maybe half a day here or there, and even your hours during the week contracted.
yeah, 100%. You just like it was at a point when we brought the twins home after they were in hospital for 60 days. It got to a point where we would actually feed them. Like, I was, because we had twin, my wife breastfed them as well, and she was expressing. She was like, we were feeding them at about, let's just say, 8 o'clock at night, putting them
Mhm.
down. I'd go do paperwork for 2 hours, and then 10 o'clock was like the time. We'd go
Yep.
feed them again. She'd breastfeed one, and I'd do one with the bottle, change the nappies, put them down, get up again at 1 a.m., do the same thing, get up again at 4, do the same thing, and then get up at 6 a.m., do the same thing, then go to work, and did that for probably, I don't know, we'll probably say about 3 months.
Yeah.
It's a blur. That whole time was a blur. And then, while we were doing the feeding, I was researching systems processes. Like, doing it was the only thing to keep us awake, like, and I was looking that's obviously how I moved to end up with SimPro, doing all that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
How to get better. So big learning curves amongst that. What part of the industry excites you these days, or what sort of, or maybe not even these days, just what part of the industry really gets you excited and do you really sort of feel passionate about?
I love look, I could do anything in the industry, and I'd love it. I could go change a PowerPoint for Betty, and I'd be so happy doing it. But I think I really enjoy the construction stuff, like the big undergrounds, doing the getting the big first fixes on. I enjoy being on the big jobs and managing big projects. Running a team, and sort of not being a psychiatrist to them, but like training the apprentices and like watching them come in, have no experience in work or work ethic, and they're just setting a really good example for them, and like just watching them grow. And like, I've got a fourth year at the moment. He's unbelievable. He's like just so good, and he's just he learned from a previous my tradie that's gone, and I put all that hard work into that tradie as well. And it's really good to see that tradie teach the apprentice. Then when you don't even work with this apprentice, and he's doing all the things, the values that you've planted into the other workers, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy watching the apprentices grow, and even the tradies grow, and teaching them, and then watching them just enjoy the passion, and for the industry, it's good.
And so what does Michael do outside of work? Do you have any interests, any hobbies, any passions?
Just work normally, outside of work.
Look,
Look, I like obviously hanging out with the kids. We do a lot with the kids. I like my hard rock and heavy metal music. So trying to get the kids into that. I want to get back into playing drums. I used to play drums when I was younger. So hoping to do that. But training, going to the gym. Try to go to the gym. Probably I've got a gym in my shed.
Yes.
Probably 3 to 4 times a week. I'm trying to do it. Do a bit of MMA once a week as well. So I enjoy exercising, getting out there. We're back onto a big hill, so we go climb that hill. I haven't done it in probably a couple of months, doing stuff like that. And then we're not big going out for dinner kind of family. We like to sort of eat at home with the family. Just doing stuff like that.
And then so how have you found with the kids now, and obviously doing it, getting a bit of extracurricular for yourself into it, or do you have a pretty structured week around like when you do things and how you go about it, or is it a bit fluid, or do you sort of like do you like to have the routine of, hey, this is how it needs to get going to get the outcomes that I'm looking for?
Well, look, I believe in building. I read a really good book called Buy Back Your Time, which Crowley's reading at the moment, and he talks a lot about like creating your perfect week, and so I do that, and I call it my skeleton week, So I sort of have like, now that I've got my tradies gone, I'm back on the tools full time. So it's a bit hard to live that. But basically I just try to do like a Monday, small job Monday. We catch up every Monday morning. We meet at the warehouse if we don't have an urgent job on, and then try to have a toolbox meeting every 2 to 4 weeks. Not too spot on, but whatever can work. Do small jobs on Monday, run around, all that sort of stuff. Full day Tuesday, and then Wednesday, I like to sort of have a full day in the office. At the moment, I'm not doing that. But then, and what I do is actually get everything set up, zero my inbox, get everything all cleaned up, and then up until probably about 3 months ago, since Chris left, me and Christy would go for a walk up a hill, and we'd go just do some exercise for 2 hours. So from 9 a.m. to 11, that was sort of our time that we'd hang out, we'd talk about stuff and catch up properly. And then I'd sit in the office and just do quoting. And if I'm not quoting, working on my pre-builds, working on how to get quoting better, theming that day. And then Thursday, full day on the tools. And then Friday, sort of just a run around day as well, like the Monday, keep it flexible. But that's the goal for your perfect week, but it doesn't always happen. And if you don't do your quoting on the Wednesday, you just do it on Thursday night, or you do it, there's just not being too structured, because as Sparkies, we're always getting call outs. Everything changes every day. It's never, you can't structure it.
So you're not too hard on yourself if you don't hit the ideal side of things, because there's a...
No, you can't, because then you get pissed off, and you get but as long as the top 10 things get done every week, I think that's the important part. Because I've got one of my mortgage broker, Peter Savage from Savage Money. on his whiteboard. I did a job at his thing, and on his whiteboard it says, "Stick to the fucking plan." You know. So like, and I translate that to me is like, with Crow, we always talk about top 10 non-negotiables, closing your week, getting all the invoices sent, variations that have been acknowledged or sent, quotes are out, everyone's gotten back to by the end of every day, by the end of the week, inboxes at zero by Friday afternoon, like all that sort of stuff. And then what I'll do is if I'm in the office, sometimes I'll get a phone call, I'll walk outside, pull out some weeds, and then walk around, and I'm on the phone. By the time I know it, I'm like, I've walked 3 kilometers away from my house. What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? So like, I think having that, when I saw that at Peter's office, I was like, that's killer. So I put it on my whiteboard, and every time I'm doing something that's not to the plan that you're there for, you just divert back to it. It reminds me to do it. So
yeah. So you're finding, or so you find, obviously that if you get the, whatever your top 10 is, so to speak, or what the most important thing, I like to call it, like what are the most important things, when you're able, if they're knocked over every week or they get knocked over every week, it's everything else can wait. Then it's sort of like you're at ease. Then you feel comfortable with the week ahead coming.
Yeah, well, look, I messaged Greg probably about two months ago or something like that, and I said to him, like, we had our one-on-one on the Friday, and I was all like worked up about all these things that was going on, and then like whenever I have a one-on-one with Greg, and he knows this, like it goes for half an hour, and we pretty much just talk fucking bullshit for 25 minutes, and then like we'll just have like 2 to 5 minutes worth of talking about something, and he'll just ask me 2 questions, and be like, all right, that's what you got to do, and you just walk away from it like, fuck, that was the moneymaker right there. And then one of those things was like picking the non-negotiables that we do. And yeah, I just done that, and I found like by Friday afternoon, they all need to be done. If I've done all that by Friday, if it has to be Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, even Saturday night, but like as long as they're done, I feel like I deserve a weekend,
Yes. Yeah.
Like, and what we do is I just sort of write on my whiteboard now, like the one thing I need to get done that week. So for example, there's a big quote that I need to get out or a big project, I just write them on my whiteboard. By the end of the week, that has to be done.
Yeah.
Or need to build a check, I don't know, like whatever we always say. There's that one thing you have to do that week. And then you get those other 10 things done, so you've got 11 things you need to do.
Yeah. Sweet. And that gets like you said, you feel like you can relax on the weekend, you're not sort of consuming. So if you were to sort of look at your sort of last 10 years in going about business, I think it was hard on yourself now as you were, or do you feel like you're a little bit more lenient, or do you feel like you've just changed with like different habits and different learnings?
I think I'll always be hard on myself. That you always got to be better, And I think once you have kids, you sort of like you realize like there's a life outside of working all the time, because you blend your work into your life. Your personal life is your work life, But it's hard to do all 3: family, work, and your personal stuff. But yeah, I've definitely gotten softer on my workers. When I say softer, like, if they're doing a first fix, I want all the reds lined up. So when you're stripping that PowerPoint, all the reds come off it. And I'd pick on stuff like that. But what do? Like, you got to let that go. You can't, you can't maintain that standard everywhere you go. And that's, say with apprentices, we tried taking on a new apprentice. I'm very selective with who I work with and who I employ. But we tried out 11 guys last year. And I took on the 11th one. And, so that says a lot, like a very high standard with who I'm working. I expect from the team, and pretty full on with stuff like that.
That's right. I don't think I think you need to apologise for having high standards. I think that's just it's a trait first and foremost. I think it's a very, very good trait to have, and I probably would say I think it is a little bit not undervalued or lost these days, but it's definitely not as I guess prevalent and sort of as it was once upon a time. So I don't think you should apologise for setting yourself high standards and having high expectations, because I think it's got you to the position where you are today.
Yeah, 100%. And the customers can see it, or the clients can see that you got a high standard for stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And that rubs off on your staff, and then your staff then show the apprentices, or your tradies show the apprentices what's expected. And yeah, it's really good. It's good to see like getting the feedback about your workers from clients. I got to a point where my tradie Chris, people didn't even want me to go there; they wanted him there. you know, because he was so particular and perfect. He communicated really well, like, you know, and that made me really proud, you know, hearing
Yeah.
stuff like
One thing, sure. I think one thing that if we take something out of this part of the conversation here is I guess it's not so much an importance around it, but acknowledgement of the toll it can take on a business owner of the expectations not being met. And what I mean by that is that, hey, if we're continually getting that phone call or that message about that small thing or that wasn't done, that wasn't met, as opposed to the compliments and the pats on the back. So your expectations are set here, but we're actually, as a team, we're falling short of that and we're setting here. And it's that I believe it almost sends you crazy in a way, because it's like, how hard is it not to, like, you would almost prefer something quite extreme to occur. So like in the sense of, like a ladder fell into a window, or the light fell from the ceiling as they were trying to put it up or something like that and smashed on the ground. Because it's almost like that extremeness is like, it's like, oh, that's an accident. Like, is everyone okay? And everyone moves on from it all. But if it's like, if the PowerPoint's side by side of the wrong height, or the downlights don't line up, or there's another extra cut that needs to be patched, or the cutout of the light switch is too large, and we all know it's near on impossible to try and shimmy a light switch or PowerPoint to then cover it correctly and then try and get it filled as such, because once it's on, it's never coming back off. Like we can't turn those. I'm sure you've probably experienced it all. Those small things are the things that actually eat away at you and really affect you.
Yeah, well, one thing that we've implemented probably last year into our toolbox meetings is we have an issues list that we do. I pretty much write them all in there, but the boys will mention it and then I'll add it in, or admin will do it. Is we have a toolbox meeting and it's called IDS, identify, discuss, and solve, whatever it's called. And then basically what we do is, like, for example, let's just say a PowerPoint wasn't screwed onto the wall. I'll just try to think of a good example. So like PowerPoint was screwed onto the wall properly. Instead of taking photos, putting in the chat, who the fuck did this? What's going on? Why'd you do this to me? Like, why'd you do this to us? What you do is you take a photo of it, upload it into the list, send it into the list, and then we actually just sit down and we just go through, and there's always like maybe 2 to 4 issues, 2 to 5 every time. And instead of saying like, we just say, why did that happen? What can we do so that doesn't happen again? We've had some times where things haven't been tested properly. One of the boys had an active and a switch 1 worth the wrong way around on the light switch. So it was like, you'd go into the bedroom, turn it on, and it turned on the whole kitchen area. So they'd gone through and tested everything, but when they went back, they didn't pick up on it. You know what I mean? So I took a photo of it, wrote it into the list, we brought it up in the meeting, and then we came up with a process or a way that won't happen ever again. So you're always growing, you're turning issues into like repairs, keep doing it until you don't have any issues. So
so you're getting learnings from your mistakes and understanding it, and not blowing up about it, because like a blow up probably doesn't really solve anything. It might make you feel a little bit better, but it actually doesn't get the outcome that you're looking for.
What makes it feel better is when the boys see that there's been an issue and how it's affected the company. I had to go out there and fix that on a Sunday, which is good because I took the kids for a drive. We did it, and then went to the beach after, and so it was okay. I made an outing of it, but like how it's affected the company, and if I had to pay them to do it for free, they wouldn't have liked that. So, and then they appreciate you saying, it's them, it's their checklist. It's not mine. I don't need a checklist. That's their checklist. So they're building, and they feel like that they own that checklist now, because that's, and I don't say, oh, hey, I had an idea of how to fix it, how it would be a better process. But the boys came up with an idea, hey, from now on, let's test from the back of the house so that doesn't happen again. We'll turn everything on and off every time. So now that's part of our list. So they know they never to do that again. Otherwise, if you yell at them and get upset and blow out at them, they'll be like, here we go again, and they resent you. So,
no, 100%. And did that was that trip with the kids inspired from your old man taking you to the job?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, not in the Tarago though. I took them there and then just walked through this brand new house. It was like, went through there, fixed it real quickly, and then took them, went on the rides. My wife wasn't, she stayed home to
Yeah.
clean stuff, but
Bits
they
and
loved
pieces.
it. They loved it. So now they fight over who comes to work with me on Saturdays,
How good's that?
Yeah.
Maybe
At the moment.
maybe a buddying Sparky or two there.
Maybe, yeah.
Couple of things I sort of want to, I guess, finish on is that what sort of do you look forward to in the future for AEC? What are you sort of excited about?
Looking forward to, well, my goal for the end of the year, hopefully till by January next year, I'd like to be ready to have another tradie and apprentice team.
Mhm.
So have that, and then that'll sort of free me up so I could sort of set up my week back to how we were talking before.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to get to that, and then maybe 3 years, within the next 3 to 4 years, maybe get another couple of teams. So just keep hiring teams and try to, keep it a balanced team, tradie and apprentices, and just keep churning apprentices, get them through and train people up. So I really enjoy training them. So
Yeah, so do you feel like the apprenticeship side of what you do is something that A, you're proud of, but B, you're quite passionate about to get young
yeah,
guys into the
yeah,
industry who are highly skilled, but also capable?
yeah, I think so. And just watching them grow, like just teaching them life skills as well, and teaching them like how to work hard and like what's involved in it, and not scaring them away from it. Like
Yeah,
make them proud of working hard, and like it's a badge of honor, to work hard and work smart at the same time.
yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy doing that, and then yeah, just hoping to just continue getting some bigger projects. Started to do some outreach now, and like cold calling people. Joey Pratt, fucking got me onto that. He pressured me into my first one, and I was like, by the end of it, they fucking could get me off the phone.
Well, it's fine.
Yeah. So, but I did catch up with a guy this week, and he did say like he goes, email is a place where things go to die. So I think like I was good on the phone, but I think getting those meetings in face to face is important, I reckon.
Yeah.
So just yeah, I think just trying to establish a bit of like a good sales. That's why we're working on our marketing at the moment, so that when we're calling, they've got something that they can look at and look us up. Because I only just got a website last month after 10 years. So
Yeah, no, I sort of was, where I think what it really goes to show is that there's no linear path that needs to be followed to like an exact T. Yeah, there's different ideas and different thoughts that will work for different people, but what works for you will work for different people, won't work for others. Hometown, strong family base, strong community base, good relationships in that sense versus someone who is in a brand new area with no contacts, no relations, like that,
yeah,
a different approach is going to be needed in that particular sense as well. So I think it really highlights that there's not a linear journey for anyone. It really depends on what works for you.
yeah, that's right. And then when you're Italian and you're from Adelaide, you're normally cousins with most people anyway.
Yeah.
So so you sort of find
Strong
like
connections. So you pretty much
yeah,
know half the town.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What would be the worst job you've ever been on or been involved with? And sort of,
So the worst outcome, I've got a story for this one. Probably the worst outcome for a job. It was for one of my builders at the time. One of my first build, from the beginning. And this was after I'd had the twins, and I reckon it was Celeste, my daughter was turning 3 at the time. And the lady was just an absolute pain in the ass. Like she was just a lovely lady, but she just asked a million questions. She wanted a PowerPoint on a solid brick wall, but she didn't want to chase anything. And I said, well, we can put a wireless PowerPoint in for you, but it just won't work. That's
yeah,
not right. And I was upgrading the board, and I was upgrading a switchboard, and I had a pretty average apprentice at the time, and he was making a lot of mistakes while he was doing the first fix. I had other guys calling me about other jobs. They were making a cake for my daughter's birthday from this bakery that I did jobs for. My dad was there picking up, what the fuck cake am I picking up? And all this shit going on. And I actually made quite a big mistake when I livened up the board.
yeah,
I won't go into too much technical detail, but yeah, I made quite a big mistake, and I blew up, probably caused about 10 grand worth of damage, maybe 10 to 15K worth of damage, and that was all just from simply not connecting something correctly. Did my test, and yeah, nearly caught some stuff on fire. There was a PlayStation that caught on fire.
yeah,
So
wow.
ran in there with my jumper, wrapped it up, and then brought it outside. And well, obviously turned off all the power and everything. And then I just didn't connect to neutral, didn't link a bar up. It was a very, very easy mistake to make. And that just came from not being all over it. So that's probably like my worst experience on a job. But in saying that, I won the lady over again. I got her really good, and I still do work for her. She's like, loves us, you know. But that actually inspired me to get admin, offload my admin, because you just had too much going on. It's funny now, it wasn't funny at the time, but we turned on the power and then the lady came in and she said, Michael, there was a big bang, should I be worried? And I said, oh, I was like, what happened?
No, just get me the cake, mate. Just get me the cake.
So like, we turned it, tested everything out, and I had 415 going across, and I was like, oh, fuck. So I turned everything off, and then the kid runs in and he goes, Michael, my PlayStation's on fire. I was like, you fucking kidding me? So I took my jumper off and I ran, you know, wrapped it up, and it wasn't on fire, it was just smoking up. And yeah, brought it outside, everything like that. And then it turned out, we caused probably about $10,000 to $15,000 worth of damage. It was all covered by insurance, obviously, but it was a stressful time. And then, it was like the week of my daughter's birthday, all that sort of stuff as well. So the hot water services blew up. They had 2 hotties. So I called my plumber mate Guido from CPS. He came and straight away got sent 2 of his guys, replaced the 2 hotties. But yeah, like I said, with that lady, she was a pain in the ass, but in the end, we got her really good. I went above and beyond for her to make sure that everything got fixed. Did everything, I paid for everything, and then obviously got reimbursed by insurance. And I actually bumped into her before Christmas, and she was like, I think it was with one of my daughters, and she was just like, oh, your dad, blah, 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 saying how much of a good guy I was. I was thinking, I don't think you blew up your house. And like, you still like me. But yeah, that was sort of like back to what we were saying, like that was sort of like a pathway for me to be like, shit, you're running at 100%. You need to get some help here with admin and everything like that.
Do you reckon the cause of that was just too much going on?
Yeah, way too much going on. So yeah, I was doing that board. And like I said, the lady was coming in asking all these questions, picking up the cake story and all that sort of shit going on. So yeah, it was just too much happening.
Yeah, no. Next question then. Best job you've ever done, or best job you've been involved with?
Look, I really enjoyed doing those warehouses that we just finished. The undergrounds, we had about, ran probably about 250 meters worth of aluminium, the cable pull, the scissor lifts all over the warehouses. It was just awesome. Loved it. The team loved it. That big house we did at St. Peter's recently. If you're from Adelaide, you'll know where St. Peter's is, 1,200 square meter house. That was pretty awesome as well. But yeah, pretty much I just enjoy all of it. I enjoy everything about it, even difficult customers. I enjoyed turning them around, and making them happy in the end. So
nice. I like it. And the big question to wrap it all up is, what's your favorite tool of the trade?
Oh, gonna have to say a coat hanger, man. I should have brought one in here. But I was actually talking to my apprentice about it yesterday. And I reckon, just a fresh set of pliers,
fresh set of pliers to cut with.
Like my dad hates electrical now. Like he's in his 60s now, and he hates it. Well, just turned 60. I won't say he's in his 60s. And I always say to him, when you die, I'm going to put a pair of pliers in your coffin, man. You're going to be haunted by this forever. So I try to buy a brand new pair of pliers every year after Christmas. So I think that's the best. When you go into the new year with brand new, they cut well. So. And I keep 2, linesman and the straight, side cut and the straight one. I have 2 in my tool belt.
Got 2, 2 for each scenario.
I just have both. Tacos,
Why not have both?
Put both in your tool belt, and
that's
you're always going.
I like it. That's awesome. Yeah, a fresh cut of pliers. That's awesome. Well, Michael, mate, thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming along. Hope everyone takes a bit away from this and enjoys the chat. And as always, again, appreciated and catch up with you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules. Be kind. See you soon.